We're live, Franklin. You ready to go?
Thank you. It's not there.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first town hall of 2021. First of all, I pray that everyone is doing well, your families staying safe as we navigate through this new year and this pandemic. First off, just remember, wear your mask, social distance, and wash your hands. So that's my PSA before we get started. My name is Franklin Johnson, and I serve as the Virginia State University Alumni Association president, and I will serve as your moderator for this evening's town hall. We're going to be going through some questions that were submitted in advance. We have our great administration that will be presenting on some of the things that you all as alum and supporters of Virginia State have asked of us. So we will get those questions. If you have any questions as we're going through the town hall, please drop them in the chat. And we want to address those after each of our presenters. We will try to answer those questions after that section. So, we won't forget your questions. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our 14th president, Dr. Makola M. Abdullah. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate you. And I want to thank everyone for joining us and being with us in this new format, in this COVID-related format. Excited to see everybody. I've got a couple of things on my list. I know my staff has told me to try to be brief, and so I will do the very best that I can. And I know that there'll be questions afterwards. So if it's something that I miss, please make sure you ask the question. I wanted to first start with probably the best news since the last Alumni Town Hall. And I know many of you have been on some of the other town halls, and so you've heard some of this, but we are still very excited that we were blessed with the gift of $30 million from Mackenzie Scott. It is an incredible gift, and it really shows a lot in terms of how we have been able to position Virginia State. One of the things that I say when I say that, I won't tell you the long story, I'll tell you the short one, is that when we start to think about how did we get these funds, it really is that we were vetted by an organization, by a woman who has invested so much money in philanthropy and who went through all of our public information, who probably reached out to folks that we know and some that we don't know. And I say all of that to say that that the responsibility for bringing in $30 million to Virginia State University is really all of ours. And I would like to say that you own a part of that. And so I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all that you've done to tell the good stories of VSU so that people understand really what's happening at state. And that state is a worthy investment for resources. To tell you a related story, this is one that I actually know. We had another anonymous donor who's giving $100,000 to Virginia State University who contacted us about giving funds. And we found out that the way that she found out that she wanted to give money to Virginia State is that she asked some members who were in her book club. And the members in her book club then asked some members in another book club. And of the 5 African-American ladies, that this is a white woman who asked, of the 5 African-American ladies who she asked, 3 of them said, you should give it to Virginia State. Now, I don't know if any one of you were one of those members, but I think it shows how we can all be a part of really fundraising here at VSU. So thank you for what you do. I like to say that the gift of $30 million, I tell people all the time, it's 3 gifts. It's the gift of money. Of course, it's $30 million. To put that in perspective, our yearly budget is between $170 and $180 million. And so $30 million for us is about 2 months of resources here at Virginia State. So to give you an idea, if you're talking about a paycheck, it's pretty much like a 2-month bonus, right? It's not enough to retire on, but it's certainly enough to really make an impact here at VSU. Also gave us the gift of vetting. There are organizations who have been interested in giving to Virginia State after that gift because it says a lot. If someone has vetted you and decided that you're worth $30 million, it can kind of speed up the vetting process from others. And last but certainly not least, it gave us the gift of vision. There are a lot of people here at Virginia State and outside who, when they saw the fund, started to think about how we could make Virginia State University a better place. To that end, we've established a faculty, staff, and student committee, innovation committee. That committee is going to be led by Dr. Palm. They're still coming up with the criteria, but we've set aside some funds so that those who have ideas of how we can make Virginia State University better can participate in that process so we can make sure that we can move that forward. And so very excited about that. Also COVID related. So we have opened up for the spring. So we have students on campus. We started on February 1st. We have some students in isolation. We have challenges like all the institutions have in terms of managing COVID on campus. But I really want to thank Dr. Danica Clemens, Dr. Corley, Ms. Barnett Tyler, all of our Res Life staff, all of our health staff, all of our security staff for the wonderful work they're doing to try to keep cases down here at VSU. And so we are managing through that. We do have some exciting news that's going to come out soon. This is just for you. Our multi-purpose center here at Virginia State that has been used for the past 2 weeks as a vaccine location for the Crater Health District will soon be the largest vaccine place in Virginia. And so we're very excited about that. That's fresh. You will hear that coming out in the news in the next couple of days, but we're very excited to be able to partner with our community, to partner with state government to really make sure that vaccines get to our community and get to our people. We also have announced recently the VCAN program, which provides free tuition for students who live within a 25-mile radius for 300 students. That's a partnership that we have with state government. Very excited about that. We want to become more of a regional institution for people, make sure that we have an impact in the community. And so we're very excited about that. Mr. Hall has more details on that, and so I will reserve questions about the program for him. And then homecoming. I talked about this in one of the Alumni Association meetings. We are very excited to begin to plan homecoming for the fall, but we're going to need your help. We're really going to need your help. We're committed to having the best, as much of a face-to-face homecoming as we can have, but we already know there's going to have to be different. There's going to have to be a level of social distancing, and we're really going to need the alums and the Alumni Association to help us figure out how we do that well. To be honest, I'm not sure we have all of the answers, but I think we all have the right questions. And working together, I think we can plot and plan for the best homecoming to make sure that, one, people get a chance to really enjoy themselves and see friends and see family. But second, of course, that we remain safe. And last but certainly not least, there's also we've recently brought on a new hire here at Virginia State University. A long title. I think it has 2 commas and an ampersand in it. But the Senior Advisor to the President for Institutional Ethics, Equity, and Compliance. Ms. Shari King Casey comes to us from the AG's office, where she served as the General Counsel for the Attorney General. And we're excited to have her at Virginia State to help us make our campus a better place. And with that, I shall stop and take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah, for those updates of what's going on at Virginia State. I know we're going to get to that a little bit later, but would you like to introduce to the alumni and supporter community one of our other hires that came aboard right before Ms. Tanya Hall? But could you formally introduce her?
Look at, see, you got me all in trouble. Thank you for the assist, but that assist was so obvious. Now I'm in trouble. It's been so long. I feel like Miss Hall has been here forever. She's doing incredible work, really hit the ground running, but you are correct. I should be introducing our new Vice President for External Relations, Ms. Tanya Hall. Ms. Tanya Hall comes to us from New Jersey, where she was the president of the Multiple Sclerosis Society in New Jersey. She's got a ton of experience in higher education, in healthcare, in social issues, education. She worked at Kane University in New Jersey, and we are just pleased as punch to have her as our, again, the title is slightly different, Vice President for External Relations, but the work is the same. Our head fundraiser here at VSU, and she has definitely hit the ground running. And so please, when you see her, I think she's going to come up at some point. Please give her a wonderful Trojan welcome to Ms. Tanya Hall. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And before we move on, are there any other community partnerships that we have in the pipeline that we foresee in the near future? It's been great to see Virginia State, being out there to serve our community, not only with the Chesterfield food distribution as the site, being the testing center for COVID and now a vaccination clinic, but do we have any other community initiatives that will be coming down in the near future?
Well, I'll tell you, so I'll talk about 2. One of them is old as time itself, which is our entree and the work that we do in Petersburg and in Ettrick with the school system. We've always been kind of another part of those school systems, really getting our students out to tutor and having our faculty and staff involved. And so I always want to highlight what I think has always been our best partnership, our best community partnership, but one that we have coming. And I'll let Dr. Palm kind of talk about this. Two. One, we have the John Mercer Langston Institute, which is to again help train leaders in government. That one's being led, of course, by Dr. Wes Bellamy and also Eldon Burton, who's the Director of Government Relations. And Dr. Palm has recently announced a center for, I'm sorry, he calls it a Public Health Institute. And so how do we do more work in the community, making sure that we can capture some of the relationships that we've gotten in and around our COVID life to make sure that Virginia State University continues to be at the forefront of community development. So those are two. I will let Dr. Palm, I know, is probably itching to take some of those questions too. So I know he'll have some of that in his presentation.
Awesome. Thank you. For those of you, again, we want to thank Dr. Abdullah for taking the time. I know he may have to jet off, but again, Mr. President, we thank you for all that you do for Virginia State University, all that you do for the alumni, and all you do for the community as a whole. We just want to thank you for continually to tell the story, like you said, from the beginning of the great things that Virginia State University has done, will done, and will continue to do. So we thank you, Mr. President. With that said, if no other questions have come through through the chat, but if something does pop on, if you're still on, we'll circle back to you. But at this time, we'll pivot and turn it over to Dr. Palm, who will give us some updates on academics. And so I'll tee up a question for Dr. Palm. I know it came up during our November board meeting, and I don't know, he probably will have it in his presentation, but one of the questions will be, where are we in our strategic plan so far, Dr. Palm? I know you went in and shared some amazing information at our November VSU AA meeting, but everybody wasn't in that meeting. So, I'll start there. And some of our presenters will be putting up some presentations. So again, we're going to give each of our presenters their time. So I'll now turn it over to our provost, Dr. Donald Palm.
Thank you, Franklin. Franklin, real quick, can you give me access to pull up my presentation, or should I have sent it to you?
One of the co-hosts, hopefully Sharmika or Taj, if they can give Dr. Palm access, then he can pull up the presentation.
Dr. Palm, you should be good to go.
All right, thank you, Sharmika. Let's see.
All right, and it's coming up.
Okay, great.
I could see it on my end. It may be a little lag time behind, but I know it's coming up.
So yeah, thank you, Franklin. Thank you for that introduction. And I just want to let you know I had a great time at your board of directors meeting. Also, Franklin, if you don't mind, if you can ask some of the presidents at the other chapters if they would like to invite me to some of their chapter meetings to present the strategic plan. I know this could take probably most of this whole time that we have, so I'll be very brief with the strategic plan. I also have been the Chesterfield chapter as well as the North Carolina Greater Triangle chapter. Had a great time, and I'm looking forward to be invited to other chapters as well. So I'll be very, very brief with the strategic plan. As you all know, we actually kicked off the strategic plan in the fall of 2020. A lot of progress has been made since then. I want to go through some of the items that just really got us to where we are at this particular time. As you all remember, I visited most of the chapters in Virginia. We did a lot of focus groups, and we developed 6 priorities for the strategic plan. I won't go through all 6 of those priorities at this particular time, but just to let you know that, again, very, very comprehensive strategic plan, and that, again, it was launched back in the fall of 2020. Right before the fall of 2020, we also aligned our strategic plan with our Virginia State University 6-year plan. And we kind of itemized the actual plan into 3 areas: recruitment, student success, and education. The VSU 6-year plan also is part of the plan that we submit to SHEV and also to the General Assembly for funding. One of the things that I'm excited to tell you about today with regards to our strategic plan is that we are in a really good place with regards to launching a lot of our initiatives. The reason being is that we have been funded by the General Assembly with appropriations to really help us with many of our priorities. And so I just want to talk to you with regards to each of these slides, some of the priorities that have been funded and some of the areas that we want to talk about. So at least priority one, where we're increasing student opportunity and access to higher education. We have VCAM money. I think you've heard about the Virginia College Affordability Network. This is where we are providing free tuition and room and board to students who live within a 30-mile radius of Virginia State University. Those students that are low income or Pell Grant students are going to be eligible for the VCAM money. We received $3.7 million. Supplemental instruction. This is also to help our students be successful in the classroom. We've received $320,000. Also, we have a summer bridge program funding. This is also to help our students get a head start before they start their initial year with the summer bridge program. And of course, $150,000 for intrusive advising early warning system. This is really to help our students and catch them early when they are starting to go down the wrong path with regards to their academics. We received $150,000 for that particular early warning system. Just a couple other things. If we talk about priority one, again, we are looking at the early alert system, virtual tutoring. We have a transfer equivalency website that Rodney may talk about sometime today. We're, again, making a lot of progress since last semester. Moving forward, we also received money for the UTeach program. This is a program to actually produce STEM teachers in Virginia. $7.3 million with the Tech Talent Investment Program, and really to take a look at a lot of our technology and computer science and engineering program, and also $28,000 for our graduate computer science program, as we talk about sustaining academic excellence. Also, some of our strategic priorities, we actually launched 2 online programs. The RN and BSN program launched in the spring of 2020, and our EDD online program launched in the fall of 2020. That program actually has doubled the enrollment of our actual doctoral program. It's actually doing very well. We also have a few new programs that have been approved by SHEV. Of course, our Masters of Social Work program has been approved, and several education programs have been approved as well. Some other programs that are impending, they're actually with SHEV at this particular time, is our data analytics engineering program, as well as our MBA program is also there. Dr. Abdullah talked a little bit about public health. Right now, we are looking to, and actually I have approved the Public Health Institute. Public Health Institute has a number of different initiatives attached to it, but it's really a part of the university's strategic plan, but it's actually a part of us really getting out to the community to make an impact on, again, the healthcare disparities, but also grow health professionals from Virginia State University to actually fulfill those particular jobs. We're looking at a number of different initiatives within the Institute to have summits here to talk about the disparities and the social determinants of healthcare disparities. We have a number of professionals here on campus that have actually serve as a steering committee for us to actually move this institute forward. We also have some very outstanding health professionals that are an external advisory committee, a part of this particular program as well. What I would tell you, the ultimate goal is to ultimately have a school of public health. We are starting small right now with developing these particular programs as far as getting out and working with the community, these community initiatives, having our students going out to the community and learn more about giving back to the community through healthcare and really helping out with these disparities. So I'm very excited about this Public Health Institute. And of course, this COVID-19 injection and immunization with regards to what we're doing now and the MPC is a part of an initiative that really goes along with this Institute for Public Health. So there's more that you'll hear about that, and it'll be coming very soon. As far as accreditation, all of our specialized accreditation programs have been reaccredited. This all happened back in 2020. So during COVID-19, we were able to make sure that all of our programs, our educational programs are accredited and basically are doing well. Of course, our faculty are doing great. Faculty development program, 289 of our faculty now are certified to teach online. I'm very excited about that. As far as transformative experiences, a number of different things have occurred. If you know Joe Lyons, we finally have Handshake here where Joe can connect our students with major employers and really help develop the workforce for our students. So we're excited about that. We also have a number of different things happening virtually. Of course, COVID-19 has kind of pushed us into that as well. As far as priority number 4, define the VSU brand and tell our story. As you know, that we've hired Tanya Hall into the Vice President of External Relations. But of course, we have Ms. Sharmika Epps, as well as Dr. Gwen Williams-Danrich, as well as the whole staff in institutional advancement that is helping us, not only with telling our story, but also helping us with our branding. So very excited about that. One of the other things was our financial resources. Priority 5 was to diversify financial resources and enhance operational effectiveness. As you can see by these different types of initiatives, that we have been very successful with going out there and really diversifying our financial resources. So these are not only from federal, state, as well as from private donations, as you would know, that I believe that Tanya will talk about some of the private donations that we received as well. So very excited, of course, about the Mackenzie Scott donation that we received. Of course, with regards to enhanced operational effectiveness, a number of different things that we have happening now at Virginia State University. Of course, the e-transcript, you can order your transcript online. We have 24-hour virtual tutoring, online personal action form processing, of course, online student housing application. Trojan SOS, I'm very excited about, where we have faculty and staff that are really helping our students who are having trouble. All they have to do is email those particular individuals, and they will help them find the right person across the campus to help them resolve any particular issues that they're having. So we're going to continue growing with the operational effectiveness to really make VSU a better place as well. What I would tell you also is that we also received a $1.46 million to increase funding for our state match with our ag program. And that was it in a very, very short presentation. And what I would tell you also that I am excited about coming around to talk with each and every one of you all, if you would like to invite me to your particular chapter meeting. So Franklin, I'll entertain any questions that you have right now. But again, I think that, coming through the chapter meeting, I can get a little bit more detail and really go through more of the great things that are happening with our strategic plan.
Yeah, definitely, Dr. We will definitely, I'll send that message out there to our chapter presidents, and even, maybe have another, just an alumni, where the Alumni Association will host it, where we can get other folks that may not be in chapters, where we can go do a deeper dive. One of the other questions that came to mind as you were giving your update, how are we forward thinking about, more online courses, since, COVID-19 put us in, fast forward with having to adapt very quickly for our faculty, staff, and students with online instruction. And, as a trainer myself, there's a difference between just complete online instruction and just teaching a course. So are we looking at broadening that reach for VSU with online, degree programs, online instruction?
Yes, thank you for that question, Franklin. What I would tell you is I'm excited. I've given the charge to my faculty and my different departments to really start establishing more online programs, just not courses. We want to establish more online programs. I believe that we may have one coming on soon with political science, even with criminal justice. So a lot of my faculty and chairs are really taking it very, very serious as far as moving forward with these online programs. But we also know that it's a fine balance. Our students need that face-to-face. And so we want to make sure that we have the right balance of online programs as well as those face-to-face programs to still provide that touch that we do so well here at Virginia State University. So yes, we are forward thinking. We're moving forward. To have 2 in the last year is phenomenal for me. And so if I can double those in the next 2 or 3 years, I'll be very excited.
Awesome. And just thinking about that, how have overall, I know you're a numbers person, and I know Dr. Menace and other folks, always will show the numbers. Overall, are students doing better in this environment, the remote / hybrid instruction? Or is it, do we see in certain areas it was a little harder for some students? Because I remember when I took my first online course, you have to get adjusted to it.
Yes.
So overall, for, if you want to say, our campus community, are our students faring pretty well?
Well, what I would tell you, Franklin, one of the things that we did, and knowing that that our students were going to have a tough time adjusting to the online teaching, and also even our faculty is really coming up to speed also, we did a couple of different things. But what we did do was we put a pass-fail grading system in which a student may have received a P or F, depending on their particular grade and depending on what their major is. And there's a number of different layers. But what that does, that it doesn't impact their GPA. So they can still continue on without really having their GPA impacted, depending on if they get a P or an F in a particular course. What I would tell you is that our students aren't doing as well as, at least last semester, they weren't doing as well as that we wanted them to do. Of course, this semester, I'm not hearing too many complaints right now. Midterms will be coming up, I believe, next week. And so we'll probably get a better sense of where we are to go ahead and make any readjustments that we need to make. But I think that maybe the students may be getting used to it now after it's been actually a full year of online instruction. And so I think we really have to rethink how we deliver these courses as well. And so there's some opportunity here because many of our students are working and they're taking their class online. And there's some give and take that we have to take a look at why students may not be doing so well. So we'll keep you posted. I'll get that data for you and we'll keep you posted.
Awesome. This next question is in reference to, we know that, we still are within the pandemic and restrictions are loosening a little because of people getting vaccinated, numbers are going down. What is VSU's plans for commencement? I know commencement is always a touchy subject, because a lot of our, students want to do in person. I think your staff last semester did an amazing job with doing the virtual commencement. But there's nothing like being in front and walking across that stage at Virginia State University. So what are the plans for commencement?
Yeah, so Franklin, thank you again. Of course, I actually have talked with our senior class several times. Of course, they're anxious to hear. We are looking forward to move forward with regards to a face-to-face commencement. We are planning still for the virtual one. We just had a conference call with the Commonwealth and a lot of leaders around the Commonwealth to talk about commencement specifically. They gave us a little guidance on that. And so we're going to take that guidance, kind of digest it and kind of move forward. But we are excited. The president is committed. I'm committed to really doing a face-to-face commencement. Now, the numbers may change fairly soon. There may be a swing in that. We want to make sure we're prepared for both. So we are preparing for a face-to-face commencement as well as a virtual commencement as we speak.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Palm. I definitely will get that information out to our chapter presidents and I'll work with you. Let me hop in. I had another question come in. Is Dr. Abdullah still on the line? If he hasn't, Dr. Palm, this may see if you can answer this. And I know Dr. Abdullah talked about it. So would you share with the VSU community just how far $1 million was stretched? And so that's the question, because I know there was chatter in some of the alumni groups. People think, we got the $30 million we don't need you to give. Yes, we do. We still need you to give. So kind of, I know Dr. Abdullah kind of gave us a picture of, what our budget looks like, but, how can we stretch the money that we receive if that's, you can provide some insight on that, Dr. Palm?
Yeah, so just in general, and again, that question may have a number of different nuances to it when you say how far can you stretch $1 million?
Right.
But let me just say this: with the president, is at least he has mentioned to our faculty and staff that he wants to look at setting up an innovation type of program where faculty and staff and students can submit a proposal for innovation here at the university that will allow and permit the university to move into a different space, leveraging this $1 million. And so, one of the things that I would tell you is that $1 million can go by fairly quickly. If you talk about $1 million here at the university with regards to salaries, our salaries, about 4 or 5 positions will eat up that $1 million, because of the fringe benefits and things like that. And so if they're asking, how do you stretch $1 million to be innovative, then I can give you an idea on that. You're talking about, Dr. Abdullah talked about, we have a $170 million budget. And that $30 million will allow us to, last for 2 months, And so if that helps in that discussion, that's all I can give right now. So without being in Dr. Abdullah's mind.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Again, Dr. Palm, I'm glad that you had shared with, providing the, if you want to say certification to get our faculty, more prepared
Yes.
for, especially this semester. And that was great. In that vein, was that an ask of you as a provost, or was it like, hey, if we're going to be doing some type of online instruction, each of you need to be certified? Because again, I'm a trainer and facilitator by trade, so I understand how it can be for some people difficult to get used to technology. So how did you go about that? Was it buy-in from the faculty and staff to get that?
Right, right. So what I would tell you, it was really phenomenal, and everybody stepped up during COVID-19. We had probably about 80 faculty members that were certified to teach before COVID-19. We ramped up. We had faculty members who had some type of experience with helping folks get online. We call them the Trojan ambassadors. They help other faculty get online. And then, of course, through the direction of Tammy McLean Smith, who is our director of distance education, we started pulling together resources and opportunities for faculty to take part in these certifications online. And we paid them also. So the nice thing about it was that faculty stepped up over the summer when they weren't even on contract to complete these certifications. It just goes to show you the actual passion that our faculty have for our students. And so we just kept it going throughout the fall, and even now we're still training faculty members. Again, my goal is to have 100% of them trained, certified, and they stepped up. I told them at the beginning of the summer I want 100% certified, and they are moving forward. And of course, the funding helps also. So but we're not perfect yet. So they're going to continue doing the certification and getting better at it, and we're excited for it. So
I appreciate that. And again, Dr. Palm, thank you for taking the time today to just share where we are with the strategic plan. I know from the Alumni Association standpoint, I know a lot of our chapter presidents and board members wanted that information. And I'll talk with you offline, and we'll schedule some other things as well. There's another question. Let me pull up my chat. Does VSU the upgrade for banner Canvas, attend to upgrade banner or Blackboard to Canvas?
Yeah, myself and Mr. Harris are actually in that conversation right now. There's a process for that, but yeah, we do want to upgrade and actually make it easier for our students and faculty to really deliver instruction and retain whatever they're learning. And so myself and Mr. Harris, we had a conversation right before the Christmas break, and we'll actually resume that conversation and get the faculty involved on moving forward with that upgrade.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Palm. You can stay on the line with us, if you choose to, but appreciate everything that you're doing to ensure that not only the top-notch education that Virginia State University is known for, that we maintain that during the pandemic and beyond. And I appreciate all your leadership as our provost. So thank you, Dr. Palm.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Now we're going to shift gears, and we're going to bring on Miss Regina Barnett-Tyler. She is our interim for student success and engagement. And Ms. Barnett-Tyler, thank you in advance. I know when we were doing freshman move-in, you were there and made sure that the alumni, we were able to have our traditional help out because within the pandemic. So we definitely will. Thank you for that. So I'll shift gears and turn it over to Ms. Barnett-Tyler. And you're on mute. Ms. Tyler, you're talking away, but I can't hear you.
Regina, you might want to take that plug out from your headphones. You're still on mute.
And Dr. Palm, since you're on the line, do you mind sending me your presentation?
Sure, I'll send you the full presentation.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. Miss Regina, if we need to switch gears, so Mr. Hall, are you in the ready where we can switch it up and go to you?
I am, yes.
All right. And I don't know, Sharmika, from the back end, I don't know if does Regina need to stop sharing for Mr. Hall to start, or if he starts, will it switch?
That is correct. Regina will need to stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. She's over there trying. I can see her pushing buttons.
Let me see if I can just share.
We're in the interim. I know as we try to get her presentation down, but Rodney, I know you had some slides and stuff that you wanted to share, but wanted to first thank you for being able to give us an update as far as enrollment. But until we bring those up, just a couple questions for you. How has recruitment been in this COVID-19 environment? You know, what has VSU done to make sure that we are still continuing to recruit top-notch talent for our university?
Yeah, and thank you, Rodney Hall, Assistant Vice President for Enrollment Management. I'm glad to be here. We've actually been very productive in recruiting virtually. As I mentioned during one presentation, a counselor can be in Virginia Beach at 11 o'clock, and then they can be in Roanoke, by 1 o'clock, which would be impossible if we were in person. So I think we were actually able to visit every Virginia Community College in the state during the fall semester. So we had not done that previously. So that was an accolade that was great for our team. So we were able to do that. And we've been doing high school visits and college fairs. There are a lot of college fairs, and so I think I often get a few emails for a college fair that we're not attending. So a lot of times those are concurrent with what we're currently doing. So we have a team member that's already engaged in a college fair. We'll be unable to attend that one as well. So there are a lot of events, a lot of great organizations, but if we're looking to prioritize, it would be a VACRO event. And that's kind of sanctioned by the Admissions and Registrar Association for Virginia, or SACRO, those ACRO or NACAC, all those acronyms. Those are the large and vetted college fairs. Of course, we did Alfred Street, and we had some alums to show up to that event. We did Malcolm Bernard. We've been doing college fairs in California, Virginia, all over the place. So we've been pretty active. We've continued to be active in recruitment.
All right.
So I'll just go to my next slide. I'll just keep rolling if that's okay.
Not a problem.
So we've been active. And these are just some of the things that we're doing. This picture you see is actually a 3D rendering of a school in New York. But we've purchased this software, and we will be rolling out an interactive campus map and virtual tour. We hope to have that out this summer, which is really great. So students will be able to see campus. And we know once we get students on campus, we really can seal the deal. So virtually, they'll be able to see campus in a 3D format. If you'll notice, this kind of grayed out building is one of their proposed future buildings. And we'll be able to do that as well with the Academic Commons building, which will replace Harris Hall. So we'll have a rendering of that building, and we can actually place that on that interactive campus map. So when students click on that, they'll be able to see any of the renderings that we have for that building. And we know that's going to be a huge selling point for the university, the students, and the parents. So we're really excited. And as a part of that is a 20-stop campus tour. Jesse Vaughn and Latrice Walden put together a great virtual tour for us last year. But this is going to really be able to highlight 20 stops on the campus. So, Foster Hall, of course, the Trojan Head, the fountain. So all of those great things that are unique to Virginia State University, we'll be able to highlight those and show the campus. So we're really excited about that. Dr. Palm mentioned the transfer equivalency website. That's up, and that really helps us a lot with recruiting transfer students. That's one of the number one things that they want to know. How many credits will transfer to the university? And so that website is up, and we're updating that constantly with new classes. Right now, it's just for the community college in Virginia and Richard Bland, but we will extend that out to other four-year universities and two-year schools, probably starting with Maryland and North Carolina, which are some of our feeders for transfer students. We also have some scholarships, the criteria, should I say, for scholarships, and that is on our website. So students who have not taken the SAT or the ACT due to the pandemic can still be considered for scholarships without those exams. So we kind of list out what they need in order to qualify for the Provost Scholarship, which is a $6,500 scholarship, or the Presidential Scholarship, which is a $10,000 scholarship. So those are listed on our website. And so we're excited that the students have the opportunity to qualify based upon their academic merit. They can still qualify based upon their the old standards as well. So a 3.0 and a 1080 would be a provost. A 3.2 and 1170 would be a presidential. So either or, which is good. They have two options. So with that option, for provost, the student is a 3.5 grade point average. And then they need at least one AP dual enrollment or IB course, or to be in the top 25% of their class. And the presidential, they would need a 3.75, two AP, IB, or dual enrollment courses, or in the top 15% of their class. So those are some good metrics for students who don't have the SAT or the ACT.
Mr. Hall, real quick question, and,
Yes,
and this prompted me from that note. Is this just going to be a temporary scholarship, or is that something that's after we're through COVID-19, will that still be something that will stay in place?
It's going to stay in place because we know that historically we've had students who've achieved very well, who've done very well in high school, but just didn't test well. And so this was kind of, we worked with Dan Roberts in the honors program, and we kind of vetted what would that honors student look like, what would a scholar look like, and we know our population of students may not test well, so this gave us another opportunity for actually awarding students who are high achieving academically but did not test well. So we plan to keep this. This is not a COVID thing that will go away.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then regional alumni recruitment events. I was contacted by my good buddy, Charlene Andrews down in Tidewater about how the alum could help recruit. So we are planning to start with a few chapters to do some regional events. So I'm hoping to meet with a few people. I did reach out to President Johnson about this as well, to start small, and that kind of will lead into my next statement. We lost, we didn't lose them. They gained an opportunity. We have a couple of people who have gone on from the university. So Victoria Watkins, formerly Watkins, now Nichols, has gone on to become the director of admissions at Virginia Union University. So we're really excited for that opportunity. It is a big loss to our team. And Nikki Humphreys, who was our assistant director of operations, has also gone on to another opportunity. So those are two people that have gone on, but we have quite a few people coming on board. We just hired a director of the transfer center, which is a new operation we'll have in our area to really impact transfer students. So he started last week, Mr. Artis Gordon. And we have quite a few more positions that are being filled. So we're excited that we're growing in that area. So I know that was a question that they had, was about staffing. So we have some really great people coming in in the pipeline. We're excited to get them started soon. And I know Dr. Palm mentioned briefly in his presentation about VCAN. It's really an initiative that provides access to about 300 first-time students who live near campus, right? So that is defined as 25 miles. And so the primary goal of the initiative is to provide no-cost tuition for students. Then if there are additional funds that will cover room and board, we will provide those for students. But it was some money that was given us from the state, to kind of address the regional needs. And I know that's a big question that comes up is, why was X county or city not included? And it was really to address the regional needs, those around campus. So students who are first-time freshmen who live within 25 miles, they can get an exception to not live on campus. So that was kind of how we did that, was those students would be considered local, where they could actually commute to campus. And if they were commuting and they had no tuition cost, then they would be receiving a free education. And it's a pretty simple process. The students have to be Pell eligible. That's the big thing. So 25 miles Pell eligible. Complete our online application is free. It's always free. The VSU application. Submit their high school transcript. If they're admissible, if they're admitted to the university and they're Pell eligible, they will complete the VCAN application, which is a very short application. Just a few words that we want the students to submit about how this money would impact their future and their education. So those are the steps for the students. It's not a complicated process for them. And we do have that on our website. So we award students. Priority will be given to high school students from Colonial Heights, Matoaka, and Petersburg high schools. So we have, it says about 300 students. We don't think that we'll get 300 first-time students from those high schools. So then we'll go to students who live within the 25-mile radius of campus. And that's where the application comes in, is we'll do a first come, first serve in awarding those students. And the priority deadline is March 31st, which is the same priority deadline for our financial aid. So it falls right in line with that. And it is on our website, the link. So if you go to the link, it'll give you the same information about the awarding process. And so we're hoping to get some of those first awards out. We have quite a few applications for those awards. And so we're looking to really help impact students and to definitely decrease for some, and for some to fund fully their education for the next year. All right, that's all I have. Any questions?
The first question that has come up through the chat, what is the enrollment target for fall 21?
The enrollment target for?
What is the enrollment target for fall 21?
Okay. So I guess when I answer this question, I'll answer it what I think they're asking. So for the first-time freshmen and transfer students, so we're hoping to get in this year at least 1050 first-time freshmen and at least 250 transfer students for the fall. It's a challenging market, but we believe that we can achieve those numbers.
Awesome. And also, I know you had mentioned and you had sent me an email. If you need contact to any of our chapters, just reach out to me. I'll make sure we'll get that going. I kind of have already volunteered the DC chapter. So if you want to coordinate with, to do one, because when you sent that email, we had that discussion. We have a standing committee as recruitment on our as part of our chapter, and we haven't been doing nothing because of COVID. So we thought about what could we do to help the admissions office. So anything that the Alumni Association can do to help out with that initiative, just let us know. And we're at the ready to help.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So we're looking forward to the partnership.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Hall, thank you for everything that you and your team has done and going to continue to do. It's always, great to know that we have new staff coming aboard, because that was going to be one of my questions. You kind of already answered it. Like I said, I'm so proud of Vicky, but it's a big loss for us. But it's always great to see our fellow Trojans go on and spread their wings and continue to do great things and represent Virginia State always. And so we thank you for that. So if I don't see any other questions for you, Mr. Hall, but if anything does come in, we'll circle back at the end. If not, we'll turn it back over to Regina.
All right, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, so I'll take one step at a time. I do apologize, but my computer completely froze in everything. So we'll get our presentation up here and hope that it works tonight. So again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Regina Barnett Tyler. I serve as the Interim Associate Vice President for Student Success and Engagement. I am also the class of 1988 and 1995, so a very proud alum. All right, so let's see if I can share. Let's close that. And if it doesn't, then I will read from it. And it has quite a few pictures, so that might be one of the reasons why we were having difficulty. So it is my honor and pleasure to be with you all tonight and to serve in this capacity. And so my presentation, I wanted to bring you up to date about what's going on actually on campus, to give you some information about events and just kind of show you some pictures of things that we've done. So we're going to talk a little bit about the spring 21 testing and move-in, and hopefully you all got a chance to see the video, and we created that so that everyone would know the new move-in process. The Stop the Spread agreement that we have with all of the students that live on campus and who are local and commuter students. Few pictures of the new Trojan decor we have. Talk a little bit about the Trojan Care response team and the isolation quarantine space. Some events that we're going to have on campus. The new Live Safe or Live Safe app, and the Wear the Mask campaign. And any questions that you all may have for homecoming. So let's get right to that. So again, we restructured the move-in process this year to include the COVID testing. And so we created a video so that the students and parents and others would know what to expect upon arrival. And so all students that had face-to-face classes, who are living on campus, who are living at university departments at Ettrick, or who are local, who actually come to campus, everyone had to test upon the move-in process. And it was a very fluid, seamless process. We've gotten a lot of accolades about it. And we're really proud of the effort that we did. It was a great collaboration between Student Health, One Card Services, Residence Life, Alumni Affairs. And we really wanted to try to give our new students in particular that flavor that we normally have with our alum, bringing them greetings. And so that was fabulous. So the other thing we incorporated is called the Stop the Spread agreement. So this is a document that all of the students had to sign to, acknowledge that they're going to safely socially distance, that they're going to wear their masks, they're going to maintain small gatherings, and everyone signed it. It's a document that's maintained in our office, but this will be used as a source to enforce if there are any violations of COVID protocols. So, and student conduct will actually use this document in court. So here you see a few pictures of some of our events, not events, with the Stop the Spread agreement, and then our illustrious staff down at the bottom with Mr. Perry, Mr. Braxton, Mr. Peterson. But as you can see, our new addition to our Trojan family are our reusable balloons. And our reusable balloons have taken on an entire life of their own. So all of the students, the freshman students, took a picture in front of it as well with their Out in 4 t-shirts. So the balloons are everywhere. So if you do come to campus and you see them, I think we ordered 60 trees, and no one has taken their trees down. They're still in Foster Hall. They are everywhere. So it's interesting. But anyway, we're excited about that. So I want to talk a little bit about the quarantine isolation process, and I see it's a little slow coming up on the screen. But we created what is called the Trojan Care Response Team, and we're really proud of this effort. But when a student tests positive for student health, and it may be because there's a lot of pictures, but when a student tests positive or self-report, we are testing them through the COVID lab in the lower level of Whiting Hall. Those students, once they're test positive, we activate what is called the Trojan Care Response Team. That email will come to me from Student Health. Student Health will send an email with the student's information, and then in turn, I will activate an email to Housing, Food Services, Student Health, University Counseling Center, Academic Center for Excellence, Facilities, and the VSU Department of Police and Public Safety. And Mr. Johnson, I can forward this to you since I think because it's got such large pictures, it may be freezing up. That may have been our problem earlier.
Gotcha.
So all of those areas are activated, and the first thing we do is get a housing assignment for the quarantine or isolation space so that the student will know where to go. Thompson Hospitality has put together these food kits, and I was hoping to show a picture of those, but the food kits are soup, noodles, trail mix, cookies, I mean, everything you can think of, as well as a case of water, Gatorade, juices, so that the students can have that while they're in their room. Then they also deliver all of their meals to the quarantine space. In addition to that, Student Health and the University Counseling Center will check on them to make sure they're doing okay. The University Counseling Service will also contact their family members if there's any anxiety about the students being in the quarantine space. All of the spaces are outfitted with prepackaged linen, towels, washcloths, and blankets, so they don't have to worry about bringing everything they own over. All of the students have been asked to pack a quarantine bag so they can bring their personal clothes and toiletries, but we have also given them time to go back to their rooms, get their things, and come back to the quarantine space. Academic Center for Excellence actually executes information to all of their professors to let them know that the student has moved on to a quarantine space and that they will not be able to attend face-to-face classes, but depending on how they're feeling, they still attend all of their actual virtual classes. The VSU Department of Police and Public Safety is notified so that they will know who is actually in the space. And so that you all know, we have secured a security company to cover all of our residence halls from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next morning so that we can have that extra layer of protection. So the housing, so all of these areas work together, and then hopefully after 10 to 14 days, our students will actually return to their residence halls. I do have a note here so that students that are living in university apartments, etc., or if they are off campus, we do deliver the food kits to them. And students that are living off campus and within the 25-mile radius, we will deliver food kits to them as well. And again, I wish you could see the wonderful pictures that we have here, but this is just freezing up. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we actually are doing to engage our students, because a lot of people want to know, what are we doing? Yes, it's vastly different. The students, we don't have football games and basketball games and those types of things, but we're doing everything we can to try to engage them. So for Black History Month, we had a partnership with Chesterfield County Public Schools and, Chesterfield County, and we had wonderful programs with them that were virtual. Mr. Perry and Student Activities also put on Black 82, which is always a wonderful event with several different activities. And the main event was called the main attraction. So there was Stepping by the Panhellenic Council and a variety of other activities and dance performances that were just phenomenal. We were also blessed to have donated a banner from artists Jeremy and Jeremiah Jones, who've actually painted over 40 different portraits of different African-American figures. And that banner is actually hanging in Foster Hall. We displayed it for Black History Month, but we want to have it continued on and possibly have a space a permanent space within residence life. Within student activities. We are also celebrating Women's History Month with a variety of activities. So you may have seen some things that we're doing. Ms. Braxton and Ms. Bishop are doing a phenomenal job with our students with a variety of different student-led and planned organization and events. And finally, we are working to bring Trojan Girls back at the end of the month, and we're going to provide information about that coming very, very soon. The different things that we just finished, as a matter of fact, we had a talent show last week, and we were able to have a live event with 250 students in our multipurpose center. It was a well-planned, organized event, very safe. The acts were phenomenal. They did an amazing job. So we're really excited about that. So we are hoping that we are going to continue with smaller events like that and hope that that's going to work out. Will continue to work out for us. So we're going to see what the rest of the semester brings. Hopefully our executive order will increase. So we will see what that looks like. Some other things, there was a DJ battle for the CIAA, and of course, DJ Swift won the CIAA battle. We were very excited about that. So congratulations to him. He represented it in this virtual environment. We are currently about to undergo with student elections for SGA and the Royal Court. We are planning a college Easter egg hunt with what we are hoping to be some outstanding prizes. So we're working with that so that we can get the students outside to, find these eggs. We have also implemented or started to use an app. It's called the Live Safe app. And this is a self-monitor that the students are able to use every day. And it asks a variety of questions. Do you have the usual triage questions, headaches, body aches, chills? If everything is okay, you get a green check. That means you're okay. And that app will be used in different places to gain access to. So we want to encourage, we just started it last week, and we want to make sure that the students are using that. And then we have also plans to launch a music video called Wear the Mask campaign. So we're working with that. The song is phenomenal. I'm excited about that. And we are working to try to shoot the video this week. So we will see how that goes. So that actually is the end of my presentation. Again, I do sincerely apologize that you couldn't see everything. Are there any questions for me?
The one question that that I had based off of your presentation, with the app that you're referring, is this app, do students have to check into that? Like if I'm having a face-to-face class, do I check into that app before going to class, or the app will only be used when it's an event that, I'm trying to get access to? So when will students have to use the app?
No, we want the students to use it every day. And so we're trying to get the campus to, to embrace it so that if they're using it correctly every day, every morning they get up, they take their temperature, they answer, I think it's like 3 questions or 4 questions. They put their temperature in. So it's going to work 2 ways. One is going to show that the student is actually okay. But if the student is not okay, it gives you a red X. And then the student should report to student health so they can get checked. And so it's a very simple process. And we want to make sure that we try to start using this for access into the cafeteria, faculty, if they want to see it, and, the students can show it there, and again, in our different events. So the email has gone out campus-wide, and the students downloaded it last week as they were entering into the multipurpose center to upload the app. So we're going to start, going out and making sure students are using it. Just with some random, checks, have you started using the app and things like that.
Awesome. Definitely, Ms. Barnett, if you could send me the presentation, one of the chapters on it, especially the outline of the process for, isolation and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you could send that to me. Also, and I've been seeing the events. So please pass on to your staff, and I sent Mr. Perry some notes, but it's been good to see the engagement that has went on in the semester, both semesters, fall and spring, to continue to engage our students. And I saw that the one last week was done in the multipurpose center. So going forward, is that the plan? If there's going to be some type of event, will we use a multipurpose center because that's a larger space, or is it just going to be based off of, what the event is for, which I guess, location, something like
Yeah,
that?
it depends. I think at this point it depends. I know that the SGA, they want to plan a movie night next week, and they're going to consider 2 different venues. So with the executive order increasing from 10 to 25, we can have some smaller events depending on the space. But because it was a talent show, we were originally going to use Virginia Hall, but then we are going to have to break it down into smaller numbers. So we were able to use a multipurpose center, and that just made it, it made it better because it's already sectioned off to be socially distant. So it's like 4 or 5 seats in between every student and then every other row. And so it's just a much easier, cleaner process, easy to get in, easy to get out. We're able to temp check. And so we temp checked everyone before coming into the event. Everyone wore their mask, and then we had masks provided. We had masks, but not one student needed a mask. So they all came. So they're doing very well for the most part with the mask wearing. Listen, it's kind of difficult sometimes, even when you're walking outside, because we do ask them to keep it on at all times. But for the most part, they're doing very well. We have had some infractions. But it's not been anything that's, overly, problematic. The students are doing a really good job.
Okay. Thank you for that as well. Again, thank you for everything that you and your staff are doing to keep our students engaged. The last question, and I know you may have mentioned it, but as far as in the residence halls, are our RAs and GAs, are they doing any programming in small groups to engage the students,
Yes.
within the residence halls?
Yes, they're actually doing both, some small groups and some virtual. And I know that there was one in particular the other night that I was really excited about. They did a first generation one, and apparently it's been asked to do in another residence hall. It was so good. So yes, and then there again, we are looking at some other things where we're going to have some smaller numbers. So again, we don't want to grow too fast, but we are, we do want to have some level of engagement. There's plans, our weight room is open. They're doing a good job with, the cleaning protocols. We partnered with the YMCA to help us with, making sure that we know how to continue with, cleaning and everything with the weight room. And so I think there's some plans for some outdoor exercise classes and yoga. So, we're doing everything we can to try to make sure that we're engaging our students as best we can. And again, like Dr. Palm and Mr. Hall, if anyone ever wants me to come to a, present at an alum meeting, I mean, I'm a member of the Greater Petersburg Association, but if there's any other that I can attend, please let me. And I'll email you this and maybe take some pictures out so it won't lag so long. So, because it's still stuck on my other screen.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to show off all the great things we're doing up here. So.
Yeah, the pictures were coming through. I think when once it unfroze the picture of the snacks, and then it went straight to the next one.
Yeah.
So definitely,
it's
we'll
probably like everything else today. It's been a long day, so it's dragging.
definitely. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Barnett, for that. And again, anything that we as the Alumni Association can do, you always can reach out to us, and we'll be there.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right, we're going to continue. Going to now move on to Ms. Tanya Hall. Ms. Tanya Hall is our Vice President for External Relations. It's great to have her here at the university. All of my engagements thus far with her have been amazing. I'm excited about what she's going to bring to VSU. So Ms. Hall, if you're ready, I will turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Franklin. Always a pleasure to see you, always a pleasure to work with you. I'm happy to be here this evening, and I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully this works. You see that?
Yeah, it's loading now.
Okay. I don't have as many pictures, so hopefully there's no lag time there. My name is Tanya Hall. I'm Vice President of External Relations. I've actually been at VSU since December, living in Virginia for the past 2 weeks and absolutely loving it, not understanding why I didn't do this like sooner, but very happy to be here right now. I know that there has been some discussion about the title change from Vice President of Institutional Advancement to Vice President of External Relations. And so can you see the next slide, Franklin? You got to help me because I can't see what I'm changing to.
It's a little slow on my side, so if you switch, because I don't think it's showing up in presentation mode. So if you click there, and it's up now, so we're good to go.
Okay, good. So I wanted to just do some role clarity. So the title was formerly Vice President of Institutional Advancement. It is now Vice President of External Relations. And as part of that, I still oversee the Office of Institutional Advancement. Sharmika Epps Harris serves as the AVP for Institutional Advancement and Director of Alumni Relations and reports to me, works with me, is my right wing, right arm. Communications led by Dr. Gwen Dandridge is also part of this new structure. Creative Services led by Mr. Jesse Vaughn is part of this. Government Relations, everybody knows Eldon Burton, and Conference and Event Services led by our Director, Jordanis James. So I will say this, that President Abdullah was very, very intentional and very intuitive about doing this. This is not a model that has been replicated at the university I worked at before, but it has made it so much easier for me to be able to message out, to talk about our VSU brand, to increase and diversify how we raise funds and seek revenue sources. So putting all this together, this all comprises and makes up our external facing services and makes it a lot easier for individuals and corporations, for us to approach and engage individuals and for them to approach and engage with us. As Dr. Abdullah said before, the gift that we got from Mackenzie Scott has led to a lot of outreach, not by us, but by other organizations and corporations and individuals seeking us out because Mackenzie Scott did such a tremendous job of vetting us. So we are staffing up, and this is pretty much our new structure right now. Want to spend a little bit of time talking about where we are, our current dashboard, where we are financially. And again, this factored also into Mackenzie Scott's decision to give us $30 million. You don't give an organization or an institution $30 million unless you are sure that they can handle it, that they have the capacity, and that they are fundraising, and that they have the support of the community, the alums and friends and corporations and individuals. So this grid, this dashboard shows where we are today. We are at 2.7 million, over 2.7 million, which is significantly higher than where we were last year this time. There's a 21% increase.
Yeah, is it possible to go to presentation mode because the numbers are showing up a little bit small?
Try.
And I know if it's possible.
Did that work?
It's a little lag, so.
Okay, hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So as I was saying, we are up significantly. We have a 21% increase. We are also showing a 19% increase in the number of donors. And as you can see, our alums are giving consistently and giving strong. And this is really very positive and very inspiring for myself and for individuals and corporations who are vetting us now. One of the things that has been very important to me is getting out there and meeting the alums. So I appreciate the invitation that I've been and the opportunities that I've been given to meet alums and talk about where we are financially and what they can do to help us continue to grow strong. Franklin, you mentioned this before, and I will echo what you said. Just because we received $30 million doesn't mean that we have to stop fundraising. We have to continue to fundraise. So I encourage everybody to do the best that they can, to give generously whenever they can. Another initiative that we have going on right now is the Retool Your School. And I want to say that voting ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. And you were, everybody was given an opportunity to vote every day. I actually set my alarm on my phone for 9 a.m. so that I can log on to Facebook every day and vote, because you're allowed to vote once a day. We are currently in 5th place. I think we can do better than that. We have over 140,000 votes. I think we can do better than that. So anybody listening out there, if you haven't voted today, please do so. And if not, push it out to your friends on social media, and hopefully they'll vote too. Retool Your School will give us $50,000 to improve and enhance our outdoor fitness center, our outdoor fitness park or area, which I think is very important right now, given that we are living through a pandemic. To have more, better outdoor space for our students would help improve their mental and physical health. So please vote if you can before 11:59 p.m. tonight. Founders Day, our Founders Day celebration continues. This Thursday at 10 a.m., we will have a virtual event that will be live on our YouTube channel. We have Cindy Benavides from the class of 2003. She will be our speaker for the day. She is the CEO of the League of United Latin American Citizens. It's going to be, it'll be available if you can't watch it at 10 a.m., but we do ask that you join us in commemorating this very special day. Also later that evening, we are actually sponsoring a virtual scholarship donor and scholarship recipient tea. We're going to bring together our scholarship recipients and their donors together virtually at 6 p.m. So if you have an endowment and you have given a scholarship and would like to attend, please email us at giving@vsu.edu and we'll send you the link and the information to join us. It's going to be a great event. It's the first time we're doing this, but I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be an opportunity for our scholarship recipients to meet the donors and for vice versa. And that's where those relationships form and stay and continue to grow past the end of the scholarship. And also, as part of our Founders Day Challenge, we did in honor of Delegate Alfred Harris. We had we asked people to make a gift of 1882. You put the decimal point wherever you wanted to put the decimal point. As of today, we've raised $10,000, and we are still counting. And we hope we can count on you to make your gift. You have another few days to get into the Founders Day Challenge. Remember, you can put the decimal point wherever you would like to put the decimal point. And again, this is another opportunity to show your school spirit, push this out through social media, and encourage others to make a gift and give as well. And I just wanted to share what I call a mission moment. We want to thank Mark Duncan, CEO of Just Social Solutions, and members of Omega Psi Phi fraternity for their kind gift of hand sanitizer. We all know how important hand sanitizer is during this pandemic. There was a time when you couldn't get it. Now it is available, and thanks to the generosity of Mr. Duncan, we've been able to give it out to our students, faculty, staff, and some seniors in the community. Some upcoming events, I know I've heard this talked about already, but we are planning Alumni Weekend for starting May 20th, going through to May 22nd. Commencement, as Dr. Palm and others have talked about, we are looking to have commencement in person, socially distanced as we can. But I think that's going to be an exciting time, and we're fingers crossed and prayers going up that we'll be able to be together in person. And of course, homecoming, October 23rd. Again, fingers crossed, prayers going up that we'll be able to celebrate homecoming in person. And if there are any questions for me, I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Nothing has come in through the chat, but with you bringing any new, fresh ideas, are there any initiatives that you have, on the forefront on the thoughts of your mind, or things you want, as fundraising initiatives or any initiatives that you want to bring to your office that, you may roll out this fall, or something that may be coming down the pipeline?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of things rolling around in my head about what I like to bring forth, and some of them I think I'm going to be able to accomplish in the fall. Some we may have to play around with. But one of the things that I'd like to do is I'd like to extend the 1882 challenge to our freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Have them give $18.82 to start as a donation. And get them involved in philanthropy, to get them to start thinking about giving back. And I think the 1882 resonates, sticks with students, and I think it'll stick with them. And again, they can put the decimal point as they move further along in their career, they can move the decimal point wherever they need to. So that is something that I'd like to initiate this year. I love competition, so I'd like to see the juniors pit the juniors against the seniors and the freshmen against the sophomores. Doing a lot more with corporate giving is something that I am planning to do. We have some corporate prospects in the pipeline. We have to continue to grow our pipeline of corporate sponsorship. And that, again, has become a lot easier with Mackenzie Scott dropping the check, dropping the mic, so to speak. So they are coming to us, but we have to continue to grow that pipeline. We are looking to our alums who are currently working at corporations to be door openers, to help us establish those relationships. Planned giving is something that is very important to me. I think it's something that we tend to kind of push off into the background and look to for the fast money, for the easy money up front. But we have to plan for our future. So really introducing planned giving to our alumni chapters and planned giving options. So we are partnering with Bank of America to do some planned giving webinars and workshops, and virtual webinars and workshops. So planning to roll those out. So there's a lot, Franklin. Don't want to take up all the time. Don't want to give away all my secrets. But we'll always keep you apprised and abreast, because we can't do it without our alums, friends, supporters, and faculty.
Definitely appreciate that. And the last question that I have, is the implementation for the new giving system still on track for summer? The new giving platform. So are we still on track for that?
Anthology, yes, we are still looking to do that. We're still going through training. I think we had a meeting on Friday. So we are still on track to have a new giving platform that's going to be more user-friendly. It's going to be more interactive. It's going to allow us to talk in real time and keep people updated. I think the timing of that is going to be great, because it'll be before homecoming. So we'll be able to test it out. So yes, we are still on track for that.
Awesome. Great. And again, thank you for all that you're doing in your team. Welcome to Virginia State again. Going to continue anything that we as the Alumni Association can do. We're here to help, and not just the Alumni Association, our alumnus as well. So we're always there at the ready. So glad you are here. And from the beginning, from the interview phase, I was just like, oh, she's it. I'm ready. I was the one making the decision that day, but just every conversation we've had, you've brought some great ideas to the table, and looking forward to see the great work that you're going to do here at VSU.
Likewise, Franklin, I really enjoy working with you, and I appreciate your leadership, and I appreciate getting out to the chapters and answering questions and getting feedback. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great, appreciate that. So we're gonna we have one more presenter, then we have a couple of questions that we're gonna that have come through that I'm gonna bring back Dr. Palm and Rodney at the end. But we're gonna turn it over to Ms. Peggy Davis in athletics. And so just to bring us a brief update about what's going on the athletic front. I know a lot of people had questions. I know she did a great job when we were doing our virtual CIAA event. She had a session with the boosters, and it was some great questions that were asked and answered. And I've been working with Ms. Davis on some good partnerships that we will hopefully be rolling out to the public for the fall. So Ms. Davis, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Franklin. Good evening, everyone. First of all, excited to be talking about my favorite subject, which is athletics, and talking about our student athletes, which is the reason that we're here. And I often say all the time that my position is a position of service. And the way and they'll ask, what are you talking about? I said, well, if I were on the tennis court and I got to either serve to Serena Williams or received, I would much rather serve to her. And so in serving our student athletes gives us great pleasure, because they're the reason that we're actually here at Virginia State. And the purpose of them being here, of course, is first and foremost is academics. And so just to give you a little bit of history academically, what they did this past fall, cumulatively, our student athletes had a 3.06 cum grade point average among all of our sports, and to include cheerleaders. Our women edged out our men's sports with a 3.137, and our men's sports had a 2.969. So not one team fell below a 2.8 cumulative. And that's, just the great resources that the university provides for our student athletes. Even though we were going through this pandemic, our student athletes still were able to do virtual study hall. They were using the library virtually. And so the resources just really helped. It really helped a great deal with our students. So we're very pleased with that. Academically, we have 3 sports that are actually currently taking place on campus. As you all know, our fall and winter sports were canceled. We have baseball, softball, men and women's track and field that's currently taking place. Our baseball team has started playing already, and our women's softball team will start their first game will be March 26th. And then track and field will travel off campus. So if you're on campus, please stop by the baseball, softball field to show some support to those student athletes who are just happy to be out. And we're happy to be able to provide opportunities for our students on campus to be able to come to, other activities outside as well. Those individuals that do come to the baseball game must have their temperature checked prior to them being able to come into the facility. We have socially distanced the facility so that there's space in between, and everyone that's inside the facilities must wear their mask the entire time that they're in. Prior to any of the visiting teams coming to Virginia State and competing against our student athletes, they're required to complete an attestation form. And that attestation form tells us when is the last time they were tested. Per NCAA, they must have been tested at least 24 hours prior to the contest, and to assure that none of the students that are traveling with the team have tested positive prior to getting on the bus. Before they can get off the bus at Virginia State, our athletic trainer and his staff temperature checked each of the visiting student athletes, as well as our student athletes on day of game, just for safety. We also temperature check the officials once they get to campus as well. Our student athletes that are on campus, those that are in season, baseball, softball, track and field, are tested 3 times per week. And the student athletes that are just going through practicing, they're tested once per week as required by the NCAA. Just to give you an update on some of the things that we've done is we have completed our Hall of Fame room. We'd love for you to come by and take a look at some of the Hall of Fame plaques that we have on the wall, bring back some memories. That's inside the athletic suite on the 2nd floor of the Multi-Purpose Center. We also have installed a Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame kiosk, which is stationed inside the arena itself. So whether you're on campus for an athletic event or another event inside the Multi-Purpose Center arena, you can go over, find the persons that you're looking for on the Hall of Fame kiosk and look at some of their athletic accolades that they received while attending Virginia State University, or from Tanya's standpoint, some of their financial contributions that they have made to the institution. We are planning to have our Hall of Fame and Wall of Fame banquet in the spring of 22, once we're all back on campus. So if you have any individuals that you feel like meet the requirements that are listed on our athletic website at govsutrojans.com, please nominate them for the Hall and Wall of Fame, because we can't get to everybody, And so we depend on our alumni to really help us out in identifying those worthy individuals that should be recognized in the Athletic Hall and or Wall of Fame at Virginia State. From an athletic standpoint, when our student athletes return to campus, before they were allowed to compete in any athletically related activity, they were required to go through COVID training within athletics. And that is in-person training that we did in the multipurpose center. They're also required to go through a session of drug and alcohol training and video. They're required to go through compliance training. And then we had to go through the mandatory concussion baseline testing. So we did a lot of testing and educating our student athletes prior to them beginning any athletically related activity on campus. We have a sportswear online medical system that all athletic staff and student athletes must go into the system every day to complete temperature input and self-check information. If those student athletes have not gone into the system prior to 12 noon each day, then they are not allowed to participate in athletically related activity that day. So that's just another level of caution that we're taking to try to help our student athletes as well as our staff to stay safe and to understand the seriousness of the COVID virus. Thanks to the university, athletics was provided with ozone machines, and those are huge machines that allow us to sanitize and disinfect equipment and supplies, all the way from helmets to shoulder pads to tennis shoes to bats to gloves. You know, those items go into the ozone machine for a certain amount of time and it sanitizes them. And so we're very grateful when we were told that we were going to get the ozone machines that we could utilize for our student athletes, just another level of trying to make sure that they maintain safe. What I try to do every year is I try to give our student athletes something new when they come back to campus, something new to see. And so what we did this year is meet with the head coaches, and they tell us what they need or what they want in their facility or equipment. And so for football, they really wanted us to pay a little closer attention to the weight room down there, so that those student athletes, especially the transfers coming from other institutions, would have an area that they were absolutely proud of. And so we took their ideas, upgraded the weight room at the stadium, painted, put the wording on the wall that the coaches want, similar to what Clemson has on their wall, and added some new equipment and supplies. And so when the student athletes came back, you know, the coaches have said they were excited about how the room looked and where they were going to be training. You know, today, young people are so visual. And so they, you know, and they post them on social media. So we really wanted to make sure that it met what the coaches wanted, and then that it met the needs of the student athletes. And while I'm on football, I know we've talked about homecoming, but it is October 23rd. We will be playing Lincoln University as scheduled. The game is scheduled for 2 p.m. And so we'd love to see all of you on campus because it's a great opportunity to interact and to support our student athletes. Our first home football game will be against Lenoir Ryan College or Lenoir Ryan University on September 4th. And so the third game of the season is where we will be playing Tuskegee University at Virginia State. And so, you know, get ready to come on out to support the student athletes and to bring that excitement back to campus. You know, it's tough not having football, volleyball, cross country in the fall. And so we're excited about the fall coming up. We're excited about the direction now with the vaccine that our student athletes are looking forward to activities in the fall and getting back on campus. For volleyball, she wanted 2 new standards sets for volleyball. And so we ordered those so that so that the volleyball team would have those opportunities in the practice gym as well as in the main arena. Because sometimes we can't get in the main arena and it causes a challenge for her sometimes. So we've ordered the 2 sets of standards. For track and field, we are hosting the CIAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships in the spring of 22. So we started making sure that we had the equipment and supplies in place. So we ordered a new pole vault system. We also ordered a new high jump system to have in place so that we look like we are going out to have to win a championship. We've also purchased new hurdles that have Virginia State University brand on them for those student athletes, and so that they're excited about having the new stuff. For men and women's basketball, the NCAA put in the new policy of now we will be extending the 3-point line to the international distance, which is 22 feet, 1 3/4 inches. We went ahead, it doesn't go into effect until next year. However, we went ahead this year since our teams are practicing and got the extended 3-point lines put on the multi-purpose arena floor as well as in the practice gym to benefit our student athletes. For our softball program, we installed new safety netting around the facility, as well as we installed permanent speakers at softball. And we ordered a softball bat tester, which is going to be mandated by the NCAA for next year for all teams. For baseball, we ordered 2 new sets of dugout covers to replace the worn dugout covers that we have on the dugouts now, as well as the bat tester for baseball. And for tennis, we ordered tennis windscreens to go around the tennis courts, as well as baseball and softball. We ordered Trojan Country windscreens as well. And so we know that, as I stated, your facilities say a lot about you. And so one of the things that we really try to do and work hard is to make sure that our facilities look great to go along with everything else at our institution. The resources that are provided for athletics is so helpful, and it helps us to continue to strive for championships. On May 17th, we'll be hosting our athletic scholarship golf tournament. We hope that you all will participate. The scholarship dollars go directly to support our students at Virginia State University. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Ms. Davis. The one question that has come in is when will the full football schedule come out?
Actually, we're waiting to fill the second game. We have 9 games scheduled. We had a cancellation from one of our opponents. So as soon as we can get that second game, the second week game complete, we're in discussion with the Division I team right now to try to fill that void. So hopefully we'll get everything secured so we can get the football schedule out immediately.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that update on, where we are with VSU athletics, and especially how our students are faring academically, because again, you come to Virginia State for education. So our student athletes have always been at the top of that and within the CIAA, and not just only the CIAA and NCAA Division II sports as well. Our students have always been at the top. So thank you for, that being one of the first things that you mentioned. Also, thank you for, taking in mind, what it takes to attract our student athletes to Virginia State University. And, when you look good, you feel good, and you want to come to Virginia State. So thanks for taking that time that each sport felt like they are getting something each semester. So that was something that's much appreciated. Thank you. We're looking forward to continue our partnership. If you already have the, could you send me the golf tournament stuff? I'll make sure we get it out in our newsletter and out to all the chapter presidents and board members as well. Then we can start circulating that information as well for sponsorship opportunities.
Thank you.
Not a problem. We're gonna about to finish up, but we have a couple questions before we do, and I want to again take the time to thank each of our panelists for participating, and thank you for taking time out of your Monday to log on to see what great things are going on at Virginia State University. It's always great. It was brought up last semester that there should be some type of quarterly update from the university, and that's what we're trying to do, work with institution advancement and alumni relations to provide that, and work with our university administration to provide those updates. So Dr. Palm, these last couple questions, a couple are for you, and then I have one for Rodney. Dr. Palm, the first one is, what is the current retention rate, and which programs are being, what what is the current retention rate? Let me ask that.
Okay, thank you, Franklin. So just a reminder, the retention rate is our first time in college students who enter into the fall semester and return back the following fall. So 1 year later. So our retention rate for our class of 2000, well, the class that came in 2019 right now is at 63%. That is our retention rate. We will not have the retention rate for the class that enter in the fall of 2020 until the fall of 2021. So to answer your question, we are at 63% with regards to the class that came in the fall of 2019.
Okay. And what type of, if you want to say, I don't want to say, but what things are put in place to help increase that rate? You know, I know you mentioned in the fall when we had that session with the Alumni Association, you know, some of the programs that are put in place, the tutoring and the software that is in place for the students to for the faculty to use to kind of track the students.
Yeah. So a couple things, and thank you for that question, Franklin. And you know, one of the things that we know is if we have an increased retention rate, we have an increased graduation rate. We want to make sure that we try to move those numbers. So we have reactivated our first year experience program, right? And so again, we're focusing on those first year students. And so as a matter of fact, we have a number of alums that are actually teaching in some of those particular first year experience courses. To really engage our students. We had a really great first year experience back in 2019. You know, we were making them all go to the football games, basketball games, and really getting them really affiliated with the university and really engaged with the university. So first year experience, we also have a number of activities that are going on within the student housing. We have the live and learning communities that we are actually starting to really add more of those on. We also have, again, with our ACE, Academic Centers for Excellence, they are wrapping their hands around the students and really making sure that we are giving those early alerts and getting them out to the professors to make sure that they know that the students are in trouble. So that's just really just at the tip of the iceberg, but we're really taking a deep dive to have a major impact on our retention, but also progression of our students through the university.
Awesome. This next question is still for you, Dr. Palm. Are students in the education program being exposed to various platforms to teach virtually? Is that something that's being integrated in, you know, in curriculum now?
Yeah, you know, I would have to double check. I don't want to say yes and assume that they are and they're not. I'll make sure I double check with my dean to make sure that they are being exposed to those various types of platforms to deliver instruction. One of the things I think is really important is that, you know, in our programs that we start now and that our students, when they graduate, they'll have that under the belt, knowing how to deliver online instruction as well. But I'll double check with my deans to make sure that that's occurring. I don't want to take a shot in that right now.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. And then the last one, in addition to tuition assistance, with the last round of stimulus that's coming out, are there any direct funding that will be going to the students? Like last year, I know with the CARES Act money, the students got a disbursement of that. And I think I've seen someone tag Dr. Abdullah on Twitter asking a similar question. So, you know,
yes.
Do you know if that's something that's going to be happening?
Yes, it will. And I think it'll be happening probably in the first week in April that there are going to be COVID funds that we will be distributing back to our students. And we'll probably distribute it the same way we did it before, the Pell Grant recipient students. And then also we'll probably look at having a special fund for students who may need additional money that they can also apply for. But the students will be getting that COVID-19 money as well.
All right, great. Mr. Hall, this one is for a couple questions for you, and then we'll close out. I have one of my favorite alum had sent me a question offline, but they're trying to get back to finish what they started at VSU, and they have been out of high school for 50 years. So if that person is trying to work out it, you know, what can they, and they haven't been able to get a high school transcript, is there another way? If they're trying to get, I guess, readmitted into school, is there a way that, you know, they can work directly with admissions on that process?
Oh, definitely. And so on our website, there's a section called Readmit Students. So if a student, once a Trojan, always a Trojan, right? So if you came in, we don't require that high school transcript. So what I would say, if a student left and they went to another college, we still can get that student readmitted through the readmit process. But if they want to bring in credit from a community college or another 4-year college, we would require them to submit that transcript if they want to get credit. So no, they don't have to go digging for 50 years for a high school transcript. We got them.
Gotcha. And this question may be for Dr. Palmer, and this is something you can send to me offline, but could you get me the contact for continuing education, whoever is the PLC?
That's exactly, so that's exactly, I'll get that to you offline, but that's exactly what I was going to tell you, is that also we have a interdisciplinary studies program also for, people wanting to return back to school and they just have a few credit hours they need to try to tighten up to get through. And so our BIS program is ran by Dr. Ayanna Conway, but also, for continuing education, that's a little bit in a different route that we want to take, but I'll get that information to you as well. But for those who want to return back, let us know. And we want to get them into that BIS program where, they'll take even some credits, that life credits that they may have in experiences outside of education, that we might be able to identify a credit hour for those things and really try to, really it's a completion degree. And so we're really interested in making sure we, like I said, once a Trojan, always a Trojan, to get them to the finish line.
Yeah, definitely. If that's something, we do a weekly newsletter. So if there's like a flyer or something that your office can put together that we can have in there constantly, that our networks can pass on, and something we definitely could put on our alumni website as well, because like you said, once a Trojan, always a Trojan. And I know one of my close friends, did that, and she came back and finished a couple of years ago. So it's a great thing. Since there are no other questions, again, I want to thank each of our panelists for taking the time out of your schedule to participate in this year, the first town hall for 2021. Also, all the panelists, if you can send your presentations to me. It was a good note offline that, I'm gonna get it to all of our chapter presidents that they can share that information to with their membership as well. Just want to thank everyone for taking time to register and participate in this. And, I love it that I had sent Sharmika a note to find out how many people we had online for this. So it was a little over 100. So that's great. So when we have these opportunities, Trojans, let's be at the table. This is your time to ask questions. Let's not just ask questions and kick the can down the road or, fuss when things are bad. Things are good right now at Virginia State. And so this is your opportunity to ask questions when we have everyone at the table. So I want to just thank you for taking time out of your schedule. And so as we say in the land of Troy, Hail State. Have a great evening. Again, wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. Thank you, and we love you, and see you next time, Trojans. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You all have a good night.
All righty, great.